Hey guys, I'm finally going to be doing my liquid foundation overview. I'm going to briefly talk about each one, let you know my thoughts on them, what I've experienced with them. Obviously, we all have different skin types, so different foundations are going to work differently on everyone. And I think I just said different like 3 times, but you know what I mean. So just take, my thoughts with a grain of salt if it might work differently on me. And I have tried some of these foundations on others as well, so I can give you some insight on that. And I know a lot of you guys have been wondering about some of these foundations, so if you only want to hear my thoughts on particular ones, feel free to skip around. I'll go ahead and list down each foundation I'll be talking about down in the bottom bar, and I'll try to do like a timestamp next to each foundation so that if you want to skip to certain ones you can real easily. It'll direct you right to it. At least I think that's how it should work. So hopefully that helps you guys out. But okay, we're going to get started. I'm going to start with the drugstore foundations first. So here we go. Alright, we're going to start with the Revlon Colorstay. This is a very popular one as far as drugstore foundations go because it does provide a very matte finish. It has a lot of coverage. You could, I would say it's like medium to high coverage, and it's very long lasting to the point where, by the time like nighttime rolls around, you actually still really have to make a lot of effort to wash it off because it doesn't wash off that easily. You got to blend it out quickly because it does dry really quickly. So that's basically all I have to say about that one. Okay, now we're going to talk about the Almay Clear Complexion. This one has more of a matte finish as well. This one doesn't have as heavy coverage as the Revlon Colorstay, not as long lasting as the Revlon. The Revlon one is just really long lasting. Let's talk about the Revlon PhotoReady. This one was also a highly raved one for quite a while. This one has shimmer in it. I know some of you guys say that, you don't see the shimmer on your face, but I personally do, and I would not recommend this for those of you with oily skin because of the shimmer especially, and even without the shimmer, regardless of the shimmer, it still makes me grease up pretty quickly, so I wouldn't really recommend this one, but some of you may like it if you have normal skin. If you have dry skin, beware if you have like flaky skin because the shimmer in it will only exaggerate that, and this kind of foundation just sank into my pores and it's just not pretty, so I don't like that one, but I know some of you guys do. If it works great for you, I'm glad. It just didn't work for me. And now we have the L'Oreal True Match. This is another one which I was intrigued by. I love the finish of this one. It looks really nice. It doesn't look thick and heavy. It just blends out really nice. This one actually has a little bit of shimmer in it too. I don't feel it's as noticeable as the Revlon PhotoReady though, but this does, and therefore it makes you grease up really quickly. I've even tried it on people who don't have oily skin and it made them grease up pretty quickly. You can tell in the crevices of their nose just greasing up, so I don't know. They have a decent range of colors, but as far as lasting power goes, it's not something I would use on brides or whatever, because it doesn't last very long. Okay, and then these next two I actually just recently got. So the Maybelline Fit Me, I know a lot of you have been curious about this, and I've been curious about it as well. And when I tried it on, I just noticed that it's incredibly sheer. I put it on and it looked like I didn't put anything on at all, but maybe just a slight tint of color. It has a very watery formula. I don't feel it's long lasting at all, but even then it's kind of hard to tell because it's so sheer. And I think if you're just wanting something to help even out your skin tone a little bit, then you might like this. And something that looks like you're wearing nothing at all, you might like it, but I don't know. I'm not really sure how I feel about this. I can't fully say just yet. And what I have on right now is the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Liquid Makeup. And when I first put this on, I thought, wow, this is actually not bad. It has more of a light to medium coverage. It is buildable, but you're not going to get heavy coverage with it. I wouldn't call it sheer. It definitely has more coverage than the Maybelline Fit Me, that's for sure. And this actually does a decent job of just smoothing out the pores. As far as oil control, you definitely have to set it. It has more of a slightly dewy finish. Same with the Maybelline Fit Me. This one has more of a dewy finish too. And I forgot to mention that this makes me look oily pretty quickly too. So that is that. Okay, now we're going to go into the department store high-end foundations. Okay, so we have the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. This was a really popular one too. It is a heavier one. As far as coverage goes, it's thicker, heavier, just like the Revlon Colorstay. The blendability is a little bit better though. The Revlon Colorstay dries really quickly, but this one you have a little bit more leeway, and I just feel like it blends a little better. It is long lasting, and that's really about it. A lot of people like this one. If you want something with heavier coverage, you would appreciate it. For me, it's a little bit too heavy. So, alright, now let's talk about my Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place. This is really tough to work with because it dries pretty quickly, and like if you have flakes on your skin, even like flakes on your skin that you didn't even see before, this is going to emphasize them, and that's not really pretty. It just has a very matte texture, kind of more drying in a sense. It reminds me a lot of the Revlon Colorstay, except it's like more of a liquidy texture, and it like emphasizes the flakes a lot more. So with this one, I like to like mix with a maybe dewy type of foundation. I don't really like it on its own. It is very long wearing, but it's just, it looks really heavy. It doesn't look natural, you know, and I like more of the natural look. Okay, and then we have the MAC Face and Body Foundation. This is a water-based foundation. It's very, very runny, watery, liquidy. It is almost, I almost want to explain it like tinted water. It's like not something that's going to be creamy or blend out really nicely. It's like, it pretty much is like tinted water in a way. And if you need, you know, if you need to like cover up some pores or things like that, this isn't going to do it. This might help even out the skin tone a little bit. And I actually like don't really like using this on its own too much unless I'm working on like, you know, pretty much flawless skin that might need a little bit of evening of the skin tone. But usually I like to use these to mix with something to just lighten up the formula. And that's really it. I don't think the staying power is all that long either. I don't know. I guess I just feel like, you know, I would rather spend less and go with the Maybelline Fit Me for something that will just give you that tint and, you know, isn't as long lasting, isn't really going to like cover up that much, rather than spend as much on the MAC Face and Body. But the good thing about this is that, you know, I have like tinted people's bodies with it too to maybe make them darker or whatnot. So that's the nice thing about this. But other than that, I don't really recommend it. I don't think it's that great. Like, I wouldn't really buy it again. I mean, these are gonna last me forever, and like I said, I just use them to lighten up some formulas, like if I'm using like a really heavy foundation or something, or I want to like darken it a little bit. Like I have a darker one right here. I'll just like put a few drops in it to deepen it, and that's what I always like to do. I always mix in like customized colors. I rarely use a color straight up, you know what I mean? Okay, so I have a few more, and they are all Makeup Forever. So let's do the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet. I actually do like this one, especially when I was in that phase where I wanted like matte texture only. But you know, I'm like starting to like more of that dewy, natural look. So I just don't really use this on myself that much, and also the color match isn't perfect either. But this is a good one if you just want, you know, good staying power, a matte finish. This one has like medium coverage, I would say, and it's not a bad one. It's really tiny if you look at it. And now the Face and Body from Makeup Forever. These are interesting. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it like jiggling? It pretty much has like a gel-like texture. It's really interesting. I like it a lot, especially those with like cooler toned skin, because I don't think they have any like warm tone shades, at least not that I've seen. So sometimes I'll just mix and match these two. And you really can customize with like 2 shades or maybe a middle shade and just customize the colors. But I actually really like these. Sometimes I'll mix this with some other foundations too to get like the perfect shade, the perfect consistency that I want. And it just feels really light on the skin. It does have an interesting scent to it though, almost like florally. I thought I should make note of that. Okay, lastly, we are going to talk about the Makeup Forever HD Foundation. This is another one of those that I felt like was pretty highly raved about. This one works on some, and on others it doesn't. I almost want to say that it probably works best on those with normal skin, because I've tried it on someone with dry skin and it made them grease up. On myself, I have oily skin, it made me grease up. And so I think it just works better on certain skin types. Like, And I guess like because, you know, it's a type that blends out really nicely, I think it's full of a lot of like silicone, and not everyone's face reacts well to silicone. I'm pretty sure mine doesn't. I think that's what's making my face grease up as well as some others. So that's why this one will be like a hit or miss for some people. Some people will love it and others will find that it just makes them grease up, and no matter what, like, it'll sink into their pores. Just kind of similar to how I feel about the Revlon PhotoReady. I think if you like the Revlon PhotoReady, you'll most certainly like the Makeup Forever HD foundation. Alright, so I know I breezed through that really quickly. If you're just still unsure of any of these you're interested in, but you really want to know more information about, feel free to check out makeupalley.com. There are so many reviews from all different people who've tried out different things on there, and I love checking out that site sometimes just to see, you know, hear people's thoughts. So do check out that site. I love it. I still go on it, you know, pretty frequently. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me. Also, let me know what your favorite foundations are, what you found worked for you, and, you know, let me know like what kind of skin type you have. And yeah, I'm really curious to hear. And if you've tried any of these out, let me know your thoughts on them too. I'm sure it would help everyone else out tremendously. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys found this helpful. I know it was very brief, but those are just my thoughts on these foundations. So thanks for watching. Bye.